So we came out with this video a little while ago. What is the Environomicon? But, well, we've been cleaning up the act, here at the agency, and things have, come about how they haven't. So we're good. This is the remastered version. We've got the remastered version of What is the Environomicon. Also shorter because the actual video is like 10 minutes long, and at the end of it, it just sits on a picture of me, my avatar, my humble origins, my humble beginnings. Well, not my beginnings. Been around for a while. But, something like that. And it just sits on that for like 20 minutes. This is 20 minutes after the video. I don't know. Not many people have seen it, so it's like, well, who fucking cares? Gonna make another one. It's pretty much the same thing. We're just remastering it, touching things up a bit. And this is good because this is the name of the channel, the Environomicon. And as I mentioned before, this is a term that was coined by Thomas Sheridan, who is the most Thomasy of all Sheridians. And we'll talk about him a bit more in the video. It's coming up in a minute. And let's see, we've got some other content coming up here shortly. Let's see, we're going to talk about my band, The Interlopers. We've been around for a while. Got a lot of members over the years. A lot of members. And so we'll talk about that. And we've got a video about the dating scene coming up soon. Fucking dating scene. So that's coming up shortly. And a number of other things. I won't get too much into it. We think we're going to probably remaster Zombie Black Magic too, because that one's kind of important. I mean, the quality is not exactly, it's not great. Yeah, we're probably gonna remaster that one too. Whatever else, if we're going through that phase. I guess we'll leave up the old videos just in case, some random person like, oh, I like V and everything, but I prefer his older material. I prefer his old stuff. So I like to rock out to. I like to rock out to the early days of V, which was not that long ago. It was like a month ago or something. But nevertheless, just in case there's somebody out there with that, well, fuck it, we'll just leave the video up. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Here is What is the Environomicon? What is the Environomicon? Well, it'd probably be a lot easier for me to say what it isn't than what it is, but first and foremost, that's a term coined by Thomas Sheridan, who, if you don't know who that is a very prolific speaker, very depth psychology informed, an occultist, social commentator, polymath. And for those who aren't familiar with that term, it's not a sexual thing or a relationship thing. That's polyamorous. Woohoo. Now, a polymath is someone who is a knower of many things. Somewhat of a storyteller and how to convey those things. And as I've described him to a few friends, some friendly acquaintances, and some acquaintances, depending on their dispositions and interests, that she is, and I quote, the finest occulty fella, or one of the finest occulty fellas on all of the interwebs. And yeah, that's true. But anyway, he coined the term, and hopefully he wouldn't mind my use of it. I had been thinking for a very long time about what kind of name to use to put these kind of musings and fireside chats under, and the intuition just kept pinging on Environomicon. So it's something that I found very, very uniquely suited. Anyway, unlike the Necronomicon, which would be the Environomicon's inspiration, in a sense, And the Necronomicon, for those who may not know, is a book in the Lovecraft mythos. A great, dark and mysterious book of madness-inducing spells of the old gods, the dark old gods, and mind control, like Mind Flayer style. And the Environomicon would be more like the antithesis to that. I would say that the Environomicon in some ways, I guess, is you could kind of equate it to the Force in Star Wars. Sort of. Let's see another useful fiction.
It's an energy field that surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together.
But it also informs and communicates with you in your unconscious, in the collective unconscious. It's like an ambassador between our useful fictions for making better genomic expression sense out of reality and reality itself in a way that's more conducive to our expressions within it, and understanding and interactions with it, and ourselves, and each other. It's a way of looking at things that's depth psychology informed, to whatever extent one may be in need of that or seeking such things. And I suppose you could throw it under the umbrella term of the occult, but that's that could be a very janky, dirty term as well, depending on who's defining it or explaining it. And I don't want there to be any confusion. I'm not, nor have I been trying to suggest in any other videos that I am the Environomicon. No. I'm like an ambassador for it. But at the same time, you could say that I'm more like one with it. Molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man, and by then it was only blinding. Something like that. And this oneness, this molding, at least in part, because, oh boy, that's a convoluted one. I'll have to come back to that. But I guess you could say the oneness part, and that's a misleading term. There's agency in there, and autonomy. But anyway, it's not like a mindless oneness or something like that, or an enchanted stupor, something like that. But anyway, oneness and molding is must have been a byproduct of doing the work. There's a lot of people who use that term, the work, and how it's used today, and that's a big part of it. And what they're referring to is doing the self-work, healing work, understanding, family of origin stuff, being trauma-informed, developmental trauma, especially, and self-differentiation and actualization. Oh yeah, so big parts, big parts of the byproduct. But I would also say that the work is also the great work. And what is the great work? The magnum opus. Normally, I'd rather just give my perspective on that, but in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and read you the definition from a dubious source, no less, Wikipedia. Ugh. And look, there's a lot of reasons to shit talk Wikipedia, but you know, there's some things that aren't too fucked up and propagandistic, so or zombified. This one seems fine, so here we go. Great work. The magnum opus is a term used in Hermeticism and occult traditions descended from it, such as Thelema. Accomplishing the great work, symbolized as the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, represents the culmination of the spiritual path, the attainment of enlightenment, or the rescue of the human soul from the unconscious forces which bind it. The great work signifies the spiritual path towards self-transcendence in its entirety. To transcend, by the way, also means to include. Doesn't mean some high and mighty thing, excluding that which is not arbitrary, but is considered it, because it's disavowed or whatever. Anyway, the great work signify... Oh, wait, here we go. This is the process of bringing unconscious complexes into the conscious awareness in order to integrate them back into oneself. Righto. Cheerio. And thanks for tuning in.